Forgiving without an apology doesn't mean you are letting them off the hook. It means you are seeing the situation clearly and choosing your peace. Hello, 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 angels, and welcome back to the podcast, To the Core. I am your host, Carissa, and together we are going to crack the code of how to actually start feeling like your best self, because let's be honest, we deserve that. On this podcast, we talk about unraveling the tough stuff and getting to the core of our wounds and desires so we can live our most aligned and authentic lives. I am so happy you chose to spend this time learning and growing with me today, and I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself. Being here is a form of self-care and self-love. Let's get right on into it. So today we are going to be talking about forgiving without an apology. I think a lot of people believe that they can only move on once the other person admits what they did or admits that they hurt them. But I am here to tell you that you have control over your peace, okay? Not the other person. Just because this person hurt you does not mean that they have power over you. That's when you need to step back and be like, okay, I deserve to heal from this. I deserve to move on. And an apology, I hate to break it to you, may not ever come. And that is something that eventually you need to be okay with. You need to be okay with forgiving the situation because you deserve that peace and you deserve that weight lifted off of your shoulders. Healing starts when you stop waiting around. Waiting around for an apology, again, that may never come, is literally stunting your growth, and it is giving that other person this power over you. And again, it's not like you're giving it to them, but by not being in control of your own peace, that's when outside energy can leak in. And it's really, really, really important that you control your peace. And that starts with looking in and forgiving. I also want to let you know that forgiveness does not mean that you're accepting what happened and accepting that it was okay. A lot of times when we get hurt, we feel just really betrayed and disappointed and like what happened? You know, it's almost like your head is spinning. Like, what did I do? Or why did you didn't deserve what happened to you, first of all. Second of all, forgiving doesn't mean I forgive you and it's okay. No. Forgiving means what happened was not okay, and I am choosing myself and my peace over this situation. And I'm going to forgive the situation, the person, the thing, and I am going to move on, not because what happened was okay, but because I need to move on with my life. And I don't need another person to make me second guess my reality or make me feel like what happened was normal. That's not the case. So just remember that having grace and being able to forgive does not mean that you are accepting what happened was okay. Two things can be true at once. What happened was not okay, and you can still forgive and move on. Closure does happen once you provide yourself with that. Nobody else can give you closure. There are times where I think somebody coming forward and being like, hey, what I did was messed up. and I am sorry. Do I think that that can help you get closure sooner? Yes, I do. But that is not a make or break. You could go your whole life being hurt by somebody and never getting closure from them and still forgiving and healing. And that's the important part is, again, choosing yourself and realizing I'm in control of what happens from here on. The situation sucked, but I learned something out of it. I'm able to call back my energy and my power. And honestly, there have been times where I've done like cord cutting ceremonies where I couldn't let a situation go. And um, you can look this up on like YouTube, or I think I read it in this like spell book I got a really long time ago. It was a really cute spell book, and it's not like you're casting spells on other people, but you're manifesting something within by doing a certain action. And sometimes these things can be really freeing and really helpful. So that could definitely be something that you can look into if you feel like, okay, I get what you're saying, Core, but at the same time, I'm really struggling. I can relate. I get that. The amount of times that I have had to forgive without an apology, like if I had $1 for every time, I would probably be really freaking wealthy right now. Because the thing is, we all go through life, we get hurt, we get wounded, and that doesn't define us as a person. Like that doesn't change our trajectory of our lives, because we're in control of that, not the person who wounded us. And so coming out on top for yourself is closure in itself. And that comes from within, being able to move on and be like, I didn't deserve that. And I'm choosing myself. That's what counts, because life can be hard. And we all make mistakes. And I don't think that every person who hurts you is maliciously hurting you. I think there are a lot of times where people, I'm sure you've heard, hurt people. And it's true. When someone else is wounded and they aren't able to forgive and they're not able to move on and choose their peace, they are going to then come back and project that onto someone else and in turn destroy your peace. But that doesn't have to be the end game. That's when you can break that cycle and be like, ooh, I'm not going to project that onto somebody else. I'm going to heal, so I don't do that. And that all comes from within you. You have that power, not anybody else. You've got this. And more with like the cord cutting ceremony, also sometimes writing down in a journal what you wish that you could have said when someone was hurting you. Like, I'll give you an example. I have an ex-boyfriend who was really, 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 really mean to me, like really cruel and just mean, and said horrible things to me. And I stuck with him because I thought that was the best I deserved. I had a very like false view of what love was. And I was like, you know what? I guess it's good enough. I'm just, I'm going to take it. And he never, ever, ever apologized or acknowledged what he said was wrong. Like literally never. I was always the one apologizing because I had the anxious attachment style and I just wanted peace. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apologize again so everything can be good in the hood. And over time, I obviously became extremely resentful of this other person. And I felt very, very, very small. And it got to a point where I had an awakening, and I first had heard the term gaslighting, and I'm like, what does that even mean? And so I'm on the internet looking it up, and I'm like, oh boy. And then narcissist comes up, and I'm looking at the points, 1 to 10. Your partner's probably a narcissist if. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of here now. And that's exactly what I freaking did. I got out of there. With that, I never got an apology. I left while he was at work. I freaking blocked him on everything. I literally moved states away to protect myself because honestly, this man definitely was capable of being dangerous. Absolutely. And I had to get out of there. But with that being said, I never got an apology. I had to move on and forgive the situation. And this did not happen overnight. This took literal months, maybe even years. I lived by myself for years and I just healed. Like I worked on shadow work and inner child healing and kind of figuring out, why did I deal with this in the first place? And again, it's because at the time I had such a low self-worth that I put up with it, because feeling love, even in the darkest ways at the time, was better than being alone. And eventually, once I started healing, I was like, yeah, never again. I vowed to myself in that moment to stay single until I found someone truly on my level, worthy of me, who loves me and respects me and values me and doesn't make me feel small, lifts me up and brightens my day. Luckily for me, I found that man, and I'm going to hold on to him because I'm very, very, very grateful. But again, that wasn't something that happened overnight. That took months and like literal years of healing. And with that, I would write in journals all of the things that I wish that I had said in each, like sometimes very specific scenarios, like when he would just gaslight me or be really cruel and I didn't speak up and I just took the abuse at the time. And once I left and I started to reflect, I would take my journal and I would write down all the things that I wish that I had said. And then I would burn it. And with that, each time I felt a little lighter and a little lighter and a little lighter. And I realized that holding on to the anger that I had was hurting me. It was stunting my growth and making me feel like I couldn't move on. It was giving so much of my power away. And so once I really took control of the situation and my own healing, that's when I really started to grow. And I encourage you, if you have someone in your life who's really wounded you, a situation, a person, I really do encourage you to write down all the things that you never got to say, and then make peace with that and almost feel like you did say those things. And that definitely, I think, helps with closure. Because the thing, especially about people who are empathic, is even if we were to say those things, we'd feel bad about it afterward. Even though that person was literally terrible, we would still feel bad. At least I do. I have. And so putting it in the journal is almost like screw you, like fuck. Just getting it out there without feeling bad. And then forgiving yourself for dealing with that and moving on, because you deserve that. You deserve that peace. And sometimes moving on is forgiving someone and never talking to them again. Sometimes forgiving someone is forgiving them, maybe having them in your life, but also having really, really, really strong boundaries. And there are other times where you can forgive someone and literally and never talk to them, never think about them, never want to be in their vicinity again. And that's not holding a grudge. That's forgiveness, gracefulness, and peace. Like that's your literal peace, and you deserve that. The apology may never come. They may never understand the damage they caused you. But your peace is not worth waiting on words or someone coming to you with an apology. Your peace is going to give you this free flow feeling to where you're able to manifest more kindness, self-value, self-love, respect. And that in turn will help you to build the life that you truly want, surrounded by the people who deserve you and make you feel good. People who can take accountability when they're wrong and because hello, we all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. I literally just had a situation the other day where I sat down with my partner and I was like, I'm truly sorry. Like, I can see that that was a projection of something else that I may still be holding on to. And that had nothing to do with you. And again, that's the beauty of choosing yourself and your peace and helping to pass that on to others. Like, my partner was probably sitting there, what did I do? And that's when I came in. You did not do you're not the person I'm mad at. And I'm truly sorry that I took that out on you, but that was not you. And yeah, I mean, together we're all going to grow. And that's like really the beautiful thing about life. Forgiving without apologies, having that graciousness and that state of mind, peace, your peace. Okay, so you got this, and I'm proud of you. Just a reminder, I am not advertising this podcast on social media. It really did not feel aligned with who I am as a person. So we are doing this old school word of mouth. If you know somebody who you think could benefit from listening, if you could please, please, please send it their way. As of right now, the podcast is on Spotify and YouTube. Eventually, we will get onto other platforms when that feels aligned. But I so appreciate your support. If you feel aligned to follow the podcast, I would truly appreciate that. If you want to know about future episodes, you can click the little bell, and the next time I do post an episode, you'll get a notification. So you can be one of the first ones to listen. And I love you. Thank you so, so, so much for spending this time with me today. Until next time, bye.